If you've ever had that nagging, burning, or just deep aching pain that runs down your leg or sits right in your buttock, you know the confusion that comes with it. Is it my back? Is it some muscle I've never heard of? What am I even supposed to do about it? Well, today, we're going to put on our detective hats and get to the bottom of it. We're going to investigate the real cause of that pain and find some actual, clear answers. And this quote right here, wow, it just gets to the absolute heart of the problem, doesn't it? It's about that frustration of wasting weeks, maybe even months, going down the completely wrong path because you were treating the label, sciatica. But the real key, as we're about to find out, isn't the label. It's the pattern. So let's frame this like a detective case. The case is open. We have two main suspects for your pain. Classic sciatica, which usually comes from the lower back, and its sneaky impersonator, piriformis syndrome. And the victim in all this? Well, that's you. Getting these two suspects straight is the first, most crucial step to solving your own case. And if you're in this boat, you know this feeling all too well. It's a painful guessing game, right? You try some random stretches you saw on the internet. Maybe you try to rest it completely. Maybe you try to push through the pain. It's this frustrating cycle where you feel like you're just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks. So let's unmask our second suspect, Piriformis syndrome. What is it? Well, it's when the small, deep muscle in your buttock region gets all tight and irritated, and it starts leaning on the sciatic nerve, which runs right next to it. Or for some people, it actually runs through it. And the result? You get pain that looks and feels a whole lot like sciatica, but the source, the actual culprit, is completely different. And here's the cool part. Your first big break in this case doesn't require a fancy MRI or an expensive appointment. Nope. The most powerful piece of evidence is something you can start gathering right now. It's simply the specific pattern of what makes your pain better and what makes it worse. Okay, this slide right here is basically your investigative cheat sheet. This is the core of it. Look at the left side. If your pain shoots up when you cough, sneezed, or bend forward to tie your shoes, ding, 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 the prime suspect is probably your lower back. But look at the right. If the main thing that triggers your pain is just sitting for a long time and a short walk makes it feel better, well, the spotlight swings directly onto the piriformis muscle. Paying attention to just this one thing could be the breakthrough you've been looking for.
Now, just like in any good detective story, there are red herrings. You know, those false leads that can throw you completely off the trail. These are the common mistakes that can distract you from the real cause and can actually end up making things a whole lot worse. Let's cover the top 3 so you don't fall for them.
First up, false lead number 1, the heroic stretch. We've all been there. We get this idea that if a little bit of stretching is good, then a whole lot of aggressive stretching must be better. We get into this no pain, no gain mindset, trying to force that muscle into submission because we think it's the fastest way to get relief.
But that approach can backfire, big time. When a tissue is already angry and inflamed, yanking on it with a deep stretch is, and I love this quote from the source author, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. What a perfect image. Instead of calming things down, you just make it angrier, which means more pain and a longer recovery.
So what's the smarter play? It's about working with your body, not declaring war on it. What really worked was much more gentle. Things like little movement snacks throughout the day, short and comfortable walks, maybe a little heat to ease into things. And notice this last point because it's crucial. Strengthening only comes later, after that initial, hot, angry phase is calmed down. You got to put the fire out first. All right, our next false lead is underestimating the enemy. And for so many of us, that enemy is just the chair. We think of sitting as this neutral, restful state, right? But for something like piriformis syndrome, sitting for a long time isn't rest. It's an active trigger. It's part of the crime scene. And get this number. Just 90 minutes. That's it. An hour and a half of uninterrupted marathon sitting could be enough to trigger a flare-up so bad, the author said it felt like his leg was plugged into a live wire. Ouch. That just shows you the chair isn't just a piece of furniture here. It's an active part of the whole problem. And finally, our third false lead is the idea that total bed rest is the answer. Just stopping everything. And while you definitely want to avoid the activities that are clearly making it worse, the right kind of movement is actually one of the most powerful therapies you have. You see, the real turning point wasn't about stopping completely. It was about building support. And we're talking simple, consistent, gentle stuff here. Basic hip mobility, some easy glute activation exercises, maybe a short walk after meals.
This is how you reteach those muscles how to work correctly and stop that pain from, as the author says, owning the whole day. I just love that phrase.
Okay, so we've got the clues, we know the false leads to avoid, so what do we actually do? Well, that leads us to this simple, structured experiment. Think of it as a 2-week reset plan you can use to gather clear evidence on what your body is really trying to tell you.
Here's the plan. It's super straightforward. Week 1, your only job is to reduce the load, just calm things down. That means taking walking breaks every 45 minutes and avoiding all those deep, heroic stretches. The goal is simple, just a 10 to 20% reduction in pain. Then, in week 2, you start to sprinkle in small doses of gentle strengthening. If this simple plan makes you feel better, that's a huge clue that the Piriformis is a key player in your case.
And that's the real point here. This 2-week plan isn't meant to be a magic bullet or some miracle cure. It's a diagnostic tool that's disguised as self-care. It's designed to give you and any doctor or physio you're working with better data so you can make a better decision. The goal isn't a miracle, it's clarity.
So, after gathering these clues, avoiding the false leads, and running your own little experiment, you're now in a position of power. You get to move from being a victim of the pain to being the lead investigator in your own recovery.
And that brings us right back to the most important question of all, the one we started with. Are you going to keep treating a vague label, or are you finally going to start listening to your body and treating the pattern? Because the answer to that question, well, it can make all the difference in the world.